On a chilly winter night at Cornell University, 26 fraternity brothers went to sleep at the McGraw-Fiske Mansion, but only 19 of them would make it out alive. Hi everyone, Ken here. Hit that subscribe button and let's explore this house. In 1840, Jenny McGraw was born into opportunity and wealth. Her father, John McGraw, was a self-made lumber tycoon and philanthropist who struck it rich harvesting timber across New York, Wisconsin, and Michigan. Partnering with fellow magnate Henry W. Sage, John McGraw amassed a fortune in the mid-1800s by supplying the young nation's appetite for lumber. John had also helped found Cornell University, serving as one of its earliest trustees. In fact, Cornell's iconic McGraw Hall, and later the campus clock tower, would bear the family name in recognition of his generous support. Growing up in this environment, Jenny developed a charitable spirit and a love for culture. She received a considerable education for a woman of her time and took a keen interest in the arts and the budding university on Ithaca's East Hill. At Cornell's opening ceremonies in 1868, a 28-year-old Jenny McGraw made her own mark. She donated a set of 9 church bells to the new university. When those bells rang out from the wooden scaffold at Cornell's inauguration, it was the first chime to ever peal across an American college campus. Jenny's prominence only grew with time. When her father passed away in 1877, Jenny, as his only surviving child, inherited the bulk of the McGraw estate. Suddenly, she became perhaps the wealthiest woman in Ithaca, if not the entire region. In the late 1870s, she formed a bond with Willard Fisk, Cornell's first university librarian. Fisk was a scholar and bibliophile, an expert in books and languages, and he shared Jenny's love of knowledge. In 1880, she surprised society by quietly eloping with Willard Fisk, marrying him in a private ceremony. Shortly after marrying, Jenny and Willard embarked on a grand tour of Europe, a journey for both pleasure and for health. Jenny had been battling tuberculosis, a serious condition in that era, and it was hoped that Europe's milder climate might aid her recovery. The couple traveled through the cultural capitals of the Old World, and Jenny didn't just rest, she shopped. With her considerable wealth, she acquired fine furniture, paintings, and artifacts, envisioning a day that she would fill a magnificent home with these treasures. In 1878, using her newfound inheritance, Jenny commissioned Cornell's most prominent architect, William Henry Miller, to design an extravagant mansion on Ithaca's East Hill. For Jenny's project, Miller pulled out all the stops. The resulting design was nothing short of a spectacular, sprawling Renaissance Revival mansion. In Gilded Age America, many rich industrialists built imposing castles inspired by European estates, and Jenny's mansion followed that trend with gusto. Set atop University Avenue, the McGraw-Fiske Mansion dominated the landscape. It was a large stone structure with multiple stories, 4 full floors in some sections, and an eclectic roofline of gables, chimneys, and ornate dormers. Visitors approaching the mansion would first notice its grand facade, which featured tall arched windows and intricate carvings along the roof's edge. Inside, the house was even more impressive. Miller's design included a central rotunda, a sweeping round foyer capped by a dome that welcomed guests into Jenny's Palace of Art. Beyond the rotunda lay an expansive art gallery intended to showcase the paintings and sculptures that Jenny had collected in Europe. Indeed, she had spared no expense in furnishing her home. As construction began in 1880, she was still abroad acquiring tapestries in Paris, marble busts in Rome, and fine rugs in Istanbul. By the time she returned to Ithaca, crates of these European treasures were arriving to fill the mansion's many rooms. The interior of the mansion was said to be as lavish as any Gilded Age palace. High ceilings, polished wood paneling, and imported marble gave the rooms a rich ambiance. The decor blended Victorian opulence with international flair. Chinese vases might sit atop an Italian sideboard, while Persian carpets stretched across floors of inlaid oak. There was even an elevator built into the house, a very modern convenience for 1880, which rose through all 4 floors, though this detail would later prove fateful. The mansion's many chambers included a music room, a library, formal parlors, and luxurious bedrooms, each one likely intended to be furnished in the latest fashion. Outside, manicured gardens and terraces would have provided Jenny with stunning views of Cornell University below and Cuyahoga Lake in the distance. However, for all its splendor, the mansion would soon acquire an aura of melancholy. It stood like a beautiful stage perfectly set, but waiting in vain for its leading lady. Jenny McGraw had intended the chateau-like residence to be her home and perhaps a hub of cultural enrichment for the community. Unbeknownst to her, destiny had other plans. The story of the McGraw-Fiske Mansion was about to take a dramatic turn that no architect or heiress could have foreseen. On September 30th, 1881, only a short time after coming home to Ithaca, TB caught up with Jenny and she passed at the age of 41, never truly settling into the magnificent mansion. Jenny's passing set off a saga almost as dramatic as her life. Being immensely wealthy and childless, she left behind a will that immediately sparked conflict. In that will, she bequeathed a staggering sum to Cornell University, by some estimates over $1 million in total gifts, an astronomical amount for the 1880s that would be used in great part to construct a library. However, not everyone agreed with her charitable bequest, most notably Willard Fisk, her own husband. Whether out of a sense of being wronged or simple self-interest, Fisk contended Jenny's will almost immediately, setting off what would become known as the Great Will Case. At issue was a legal restriction. Cornell's charter at the time limited how much money the university could inherit, and Jenny's gift exceeded that cap. What followed was nearly 9 years of litigation that captivated New York's legal and academic circles. The case climbed through the courts, all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court. In 1890, the Supreme Court ruled in favor of Willard Fisk and against Cornell University, invalidating much of Jenny's intended bequest. One Cornell trustee, Henry W. Sage, the same Sage who had been John McGraw's business partner, was so outraged by the legal result that he personally stepped in to fulfill Jenny's legacy as the best he could. In 1891, Cornell's beautiful library opened, complete with a towering bell tower. Jenny's 9 bells were moved into that tower, which today is known as McGraw Tower, their melodies continuing to ring out over campus as a living memorial to her generosity. But back to the mansion, it was placed on the market and attracted interest from an unexpected quarter, a college fraternity. In 1896, 2 enterprising young men, Edward and Clarence Wyckoff, stepped forward to purchase the McGraw-Fiske Mansion to repurpose it as a fraternity house, which would later become known as the Chi Psi Lodge. Fast forward 20 years, and on a frigid night in December 1906, fate caught up with the McGraw-Fiske Mansion in a horrific way. In the early morning hours of December 7th, a fire ignited within the fraternity house. The timing could not have been worse. Ithaca's winter cold had frozen water sources, and in that era, firefighting equipment was primitive. The blaze is believed to have started in the mansion's basement when a pile of oil-soaked rags spontaneously combusted into flames. The fire quickly shot up the open elevator shaft, essentially creating a chimney of fire, and spread explosively to all 4 floors. There were 26 young men asleep in the house that night, and with no fire escapes or modern alarms, only 19 of those men made it out alive. While any remnant of the mansion might be gone, its stories survive in old black and white photos and the bells that ring out over Cornell University. And with that, I'll turn it over to you. What did you think about the McGraw-Fiske Mansion, or maybe something else stuck out to you? Either way, let me know down below in the comments section. And while you're there, make sure you're subscribed so you never miss an exciting episode of This House.